as you can see, we have a short-range scout bike. It goes out to about 20 kilometers and back, and actually has room to spare. But that's just, that's the 20-kilometer range. But then I've got a long-range one over here, and this one I don't know how far it can go out. I'm going to say 50 kilometers, but it might be longer. I don't know. Don't know. This one here, this little device right here does well on removing surface rocks, but that's about it. That's about the only thing this thing really is good at. These right here are my other scouting vehicles, and then I'm in the process of making an attack vehicle because we found pirates over that way somewhere, about 16 kilometers. So I'm making a armored Gatling gun craft. I'm in the process of building it, and by going out that direction and then moving out there, I think is going to be a good way to do that. But I'm going to use the scout bikes to determine the best route for that. No idea what to expect. Oh, that makes it easier to see it. So the top one's going all the way across. I'm not stopping it until it's all the way done. But the bottom one is the one I'm waiting for to stop hitting the wall. So, but anyway, this is what I built so far. Boaz and Rex. I want Boaz to be on the top. I want Rex to be on the bottom. And I'm going to show you how that works. Basically, what we're going to do is this is going to cut out the base structure in the very bottom. What it does is it rotates all the way around to this point here, and it's going to make a straight wall all the way down. But we have to increase this as we go, and I'm going to show you how to do that here shortly. But before we do that, I think I can take this off now. Nope, still can't. Okay, so I still have to be able to use that to breathe. But anyway, so what I've done is I've actually structured down this way and built the far right wall all the way down, and this is where Sophie's going to get involved in supplying the power. So all the way down here, I realized that at some point in time, there's an effect of how long I can put in. Yes, I'm breathing heavy. I understand that. I don't know why, but I am. Anyway, let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. Now I can do it without having to worry about the oxygen level. But anyway. So I tried to do this a certain way, but it was still dressing short. So I had to basically make my piston shorter to keep it straight. I caught that on here. So this goes down to the bottom layer. I did not form the top one, but that's how close we are to the bottom layer. It actually goes this way. And let's continue, and I'll show you where it comes out. So this is the one that's going to go straight. This is actually the straight the right wall. Comes all the way down to here, and then does a hard right. I probably could have gone a little bit farther. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so this comes out to where I first pulled out here to the bottom of the shaft. That goes up there, and then that goes up here to this straight going back, which is not far off. So I don't know if we want to join this up before we do this, but bottom line is, and I'm sorry, Sophie, we've built this already so far just a little bit. I'm glad that we only did a little bit, but I'm thinking we're going to have to grind this back down and realize that this is our right wall. So we're going to have to make it off of 90 degrees off that right wall. So I think what we're going to have to do is do this. Let me show Sophie real quick, and then I'll get back to the boys. So Sophie, what's going to happen is we're going to have to create a, how we have those light armor blocks. We're going to have to pick a spot somewhere along here that has the light armored blocks, and we're just going to put a light armor block perfectly perpendicular to this, maybe halfway out. And I don't know if we need to be on the ground or where, but probably on the ground. But basically, we need to continue this on this direction, and we have to continue to keep it straight. We can either cut in here or go back further until we can find the spot where it meets up and comes in to here. Okay, and I'm okay going either way. We can either go straight back or we can cut in through here. But bottom line is, it has to be, before we go up, we have to know that angle, and the only way we know that angle is if we start, a few meters up in the tunnel and build it straight, and then cut off that straight, from that straight into here, because in the tunnel it goes all the way back to the very beginning. But we have to basically come in at a 90-degree angle and tear this down, and then set the bottom, and then go up, because we have to get power. I'm so tired of going back and forth building batteries, so we can do that. And batteries, it's just a pain in the butt, is what it is. So let's make that power connection first. Let's get power, and then we'll run this deck, and we can probably do it with less, like 10% or less. I don't want to do like 1%. It's got to be higher than 1%, because I don't want it to be broken. But anyway, just continue it all the way up here, straight across, so we get all the way up here. And once we get up here, where the boys are going to be working, somewhere in this area where this hinge is at, is done. So we can put in here, we can put in our, this right here can be moved up to here, and it'll be powered by the stuff that you're going to build up there. And then we can put the refinery here, we can put an assembler right here, we can build our storage across here on the other side. Basically what I need to do is have the boys continue this, and we're going to build that all the way back. And that'll be their job, to be honest with you, almost every day. They can spend like half an hour every day, and then that would be just fine. So what has to happen, now I'm switching over to the boys, because Sophie will take care of the power and bring it up here. Boys, in fact, let me show you real quick, all three of you. Let me show you. I've been capturing a lot of the materials as we've been going. And as you can see, we have a lot of iron, okay? And basically all the materials that we need to build the structure is all here. I mean, that's a lot of iron, okay? I don't know how much I mean, I could probably figure it out, the math, but bottom line is, as we continue back, we're going to continue to capture all of this rock and let the refinery continue to build the iron ingots and such to make all the structure for the flooring. Because once we bring that power back here, we'll build all the flooring, and this will all be flooring, kind of like that, but it'll be, I don't know actually where it's going to sit, but we'll know the height at that point, and then we can actually build the front part and everything. But we have to get that power established first to power all of this, because making these batteries is a royal pain in the patukas. Okay, I had to do it to get to this point, but I'm telling you right now, there's no way I want to continue doing that. I'd rather spend the time and develop the power piece up there first, and then once this is all established, then we can recharge the batteries and all that kind of stuff. Then we can really get cranking on this. Okay, now I will do this. Now this like be like Bo's upper thing, and then Rex's lower thing. Okay, and you can do this from any of these operational pieces, like this right here. I can go in and I can click in here and get into my operations there. I can come over here. I'm using K, by the way. I can open my terminal, get it into operations here. I can even, any of these things, that's even. I can come here, hit K, I can get into my operations. So any of these pieces, it doesn't matter where you're at, this is where you can do it. Now the issue is, when they're here, same thing. But when you get into the inventory, notice this is right here. We got 421,000 plus. Okay, right now we're at 121. So when both of these things are moving, it really adds up quick. So this thing could be filled up after a couple passes. So we have to be very careful how we do this. We can either do one at a time, or we can build that second refinery. But the first thing we have to do is the power, point blank power. But then after we build that power and link it into this thing here, and then we can redo the refinery into the power grid, because that power grid is going to be primary. Okay, once that grid is built, it'll come down this wall all the way down to here, and then we'll move this to the grid. But we'll put the floor in. We'll put a floor in for it, so it'll sit on the floor. There should be plenty of room for it to be built right here, vertical. But anyway, that's what we want to do. We want to build that part. So then, the boys, what will happen is you'll come over here. And let's say I'm on the lower one, so this would be Rex. I want to go to a lower. Everything here is lower piston. Actually, I need to identify this. This is the lower drill. This is probably the lower hinge, but I need to find out for sure, and I'll label it as such. But basically, what you'll do is you advance this by 5 meters, which will come out to the wall, and you'll go back and forth. Okay, not all the way, because you don't need to. But when you first start, it'll actually come off right about here. It'll start coming off the wall. So then you want to send it back this way, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you'll stop right about here after it comes off the wall, and then you'll add a meter until it stops, and then you'll come back. You're basically swiping back and forth, and you're adding a meter every time it goes all the way across. So you'll add a meter, swipe, and then add a meter, and then swipe. Once you get to 10, that's as far as this will go. Once you get to 10, then you'll stop it again, and then what you have to do is you have to grind down the drill, and grind down the piston, and grind down the hinge. Then you're going to add, I've been adding 2. We might be able to add 3, but I've been adding 2. So I've done this several times. So there's the first iteration, 2, there's second, third, fourth, fifth. So I've done this 5 times, okay? And the thing is, to be honest with you, this right here, this is an easy part. So you grind this down, and you can add the parts, here until, I come in here, and as you can see, I can't carry 120 steel plates. So I grind this down, take the 120 plates, and I put it in here, and it'll suck it into that that large thing there. It'll put it there. And then I get that. Once this is gone, then I can come down here and drop stuff into here. And that's why this whole thing needs to keep moving back as we go. But anyway, you can put all your parts there as you're grinding them down. And then after you add these parts here, it'll go. And in fact, let me show you. There's not much to these. Okay, so it's just not much. See, so you can do the interior plates and all that stuff. And once you build the 2, then you add your hinge goes back on, your piston goes back on, and your drill goes back on. The drill is the most expensive one by far. Okay, so the drill, once you rebuild this after you've added those 2, you do the same process over and over again. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that, but I need you guys to work on that. And I can show you how fast I've been doing it. You could probably go faster, but I'll let you guys work on that and figure that out. Okay, if these are actually built and set up, minus the labeling of the hinges, I think it is. I need to get the hinge labels put on there so you can work. But work on these and continue to build these out and push this back. How far is it now to the that corner? So basically another 170 meters is how far back that needs to go. Okay, and once you're back on that wall, then this little last section right here, we can do this out by hand if we want. But it's just going to be a large bay area, and the reason it's going to be a large bay area is because we're going to keep all of our land vehicles probably in here, and we're going to build stuff that's going to go on the major, not international, but interspace vehicles that we build. And remember, somewhere in this whole thing, and probably towards the back is going to be an elevator that we're going to make that will bring it up to the next level, which is going to be all the air assets. This is all ground assets and operation assets, like the refineries, the assemblers, all that's going to be down here. And then the second one's going to be, it's not going to be quite as big, but it'll be the air assets that'll have a hangar door. And on the very top, I think we need to have possibly another elevator, maybe. I don't know, but we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll do it without an elevator, where we can actually build the interspace vehicles. Actually, we do need to make an elevator because sometimes we're going to be taking assets from here and moving it to the different planets and different moons. So yeah, so this is going to be a big base, and it's going to be well done, and I need you guys' help to extend this out. And I know Boaz and Rex can do these, and I think it'll be fun for you because you'll start to learn how to do these things. And after you do this, for 170 meters, you'll understand how these work. Okay, and it won't be an issue, and you'll be picking up all the logistics pieces and the technical pieces about how to do this, how to build it. And this will absolutely help you in designing and building your own ships and your crafts and your own farms and making food and all that kind of stuff. This will absolutely help you. Okay. So I'm not going to say much more than that right now, but I will show you on Friday, which is tomorrow. I really, really need you guys. And I'm going to say more than an hour. I want you guys to really devote that time to working on this. Okay? This is absolutely going to help you later on in life. It's going to help you understand the processes, the objectives, and how to do these type of things. How to establish goals in life. Okay, just by doing this game. This game is a good game. I think it's better than Minecraft because Minecraft is not really reality. This is closer to reality in establishing your habits in your life. Sophie, it's like you said earlier, you kind of have a good idea about establishing goals and kind of stuff. The boys, not so much. This is a game changer for your life. Boaz and Rex, this right here, literally, is going to change your life. And you'll think about it when you're older, looking back on this time, and you know what? Dad really knew what he was talking about. And I'm so glad that Dad made us play this game. And really, we started to enjoy it after we started learning how to do our own stuff. Dude, I'm telling you, this game is awesome. I love this game in a sense that it really establishes goals and all that kind of stuff. So I can't say more about it other than it's good. Okay, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna state that, guys, you really, really need to do more. Okay, you really need to do more here. It's so going to help you in life. That's enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and sign this off and get it up on YouTube so you can see this. But basically, you need to really be on this, okay? And on tomorrow evening, on Friday evening, I absolutely need you to commit to this, okay? That's when I first got started with. I told you right off the bat, you need to commit to this if you're going to do it, okay? And so I'm taking you on your word. Promises that you promised that you would. So I need you to do that, okay? And that's all I got to say about that. Talk to you later. Love you. Hi, my name is Daddy.